Hey folks, Deano here again. This time taking a look at something a little bit special. This is Beast Deities Sobek number 31, otherwise known as Kong Studios 31, otherwise known as the Crimson Mass Saiyan, otherwise known as Super Saiyan 3 Rose Xeno Goku Black. Did you catch all that? I hope you did, because I'm not saying it again. So yeah, with all the hype surrounding this guy recently, with Demoniacal Fit releasing their own, and obviously Kong Studios, Beast Deities, whatever they're calling themselves these days, releasing their versions, I thought I'd give a couple of them a review. So these guys were not expensive. These guys were not cheap, sorry, for me. So please, I don't do this often, but like and subscribe if you're not already, and hopefully you enjoy this review. I do have 34 coming as well, which is the full power version, alternate colours, sort of exclusive secret edition, whatever they're calling it. So yeah, look out for that, probably this week or next at the latest, hopefully. But yeah, he's already falling. Lovely. So let's take a look at the boxes he comes with, because Kong Studios, as far as I'm aware, got into some legal trouble. So they have basically done everything in their power to hide the fact that these are third-party Dragon Ball Figuarts, which I don't know why they would get into legal trouble, unless they're like an American company instead of like Chinese, because most Chinese companies don't care, they just change the name of the character and that's it. Like Demoniacal Fits never get into any trouble as far as I can tell. But yeah, you get emotion memory bookmarkers. These are the faces that you get. You get a ZZF's pen holder, blind box. Even though it's not a blind box, you know what you're getting. I love the fact that it even tells you how to use it. Like, very clever. But yeah, this is the hair, Super Saiyan 3 hair. And finally, the box for Sobek himself, which Sobek is an Egyptian god, as you can see down the bottom. And yeah, apart from that, it's just a cheap box to get them past licensing, I would assume. Not a toy, blah blah blah. That is very difficult to read. If you want to, pause the video. I'm not holding that any longer. So yeah, in terms of accessories, he comes with a fair amount. I will give him Kong their due. So he comes with, like, for copyright reasons, I would assume, the crocodile head, which is cast in grey plastic. I believe depending on the version, this is cast out of a different plastic. Yeah, not sure what you would do with this. Throw it away, basically. I really don't know, like, why they went through the effort of actually making it as detailed as it is. It is quite impressive. But yeah, I wouldn't bother with it. And for whatever reason, he doesn't come with alligator claws. He comes with the paws from, what is it, Anur? Which was the last one? The Super Saiyan 5 Goku molds. Yeah, he comes with those. So they didn't bother making new fists for him. Get that out of the way. So yeah, in terms of faces, he comes with this one. I've just put it on him for, well, basically to have one on the figure, which is nice. Really like it. It's got the Time Breaker mask on it. Unfortunately, unlike Demoniacal Fits, the Time Breaker mask isn't, like, it's just printed on, sorry. It's not detailed any further than that, which is a bit of a shame. But at the same time, you get a lot more detail out the face because it's a separate piece. the mask comes off all of these heads, which, I mean, as you'll see in a minute, they do have extra eyes under there, but nothing else is detailed. So he's got the standard one, he's got the sort of a shocked expression, which is pretty decent. You'll also notice they're missing all the eyebrows, because it's Super Saiyan 3, or Goku Black's basically divine version of Super Saiyan 3. And as you can see, pops off, and both of the eyes are under there. It's just nothing else is detailed. Actually, looking at it, it's not actually a shocked expression, it's angry. Those are gritty teeth. So yeah, bit of a shame that you can't use it without the mask, but then this version of Goku Black was never seen without the mask anyway, which is fair enough. You have the stern look, looking down on those mortals. Yep, looks really nice. And finally, you get a bonus face, which, to my knowledge, no one has pointed out on any of them. These broken faces are meant for the full power figure, hence the eyebrows are back. But yeah, you can still take the mask off, just like so. And you can see all the details there. He just has a big hole in the side of his face. Unfortunate, but I mean, what are you going to do? Looks decent enough. So yeah. In terms of hands, he comes with quite an array. He comes with a pair of fists, which are on him in the package. Comes with a pair of martial arts posy hands. Pair of Kamehameha grippy style hands. You'll also notice one of them is gloved, which I'm actually kind of impressed by, because it's a different sculpt. You can see the glove design on it. It's not just cast in black plastic instead. So they did have specific casts for the glove hand. So yeah, this is a sort of pointing hand. I think it's doing a sort of death beam style. Another pointy hand. This one, I believe, is more like its signature pose, at least in Heroes. Holding the mask sort of thing. Pair of splayed open Ki Blast hands. And finally, a pair of Karate Chop hands, which double up as Keyblade holders, which, here's the official one, just as a quick comparison, does still fit in there just fine, and yeah, choppy. I do not have the accessory pack, just telling you right now, folks. I wasn't going to buy that just for the exaggerated Keyblade that Kong decided to make. I'm not paying over the £30 just for that, sorry to say. But yeah, onto the figure itself. So, for those of you who do not know, I know this review is going to go on a bit longer than usual. This is basically Goku Black, but instead of going to Trunks' future, Fu, who is Toa and Mira's son, basically created him, they didn't birth him, as far as I know. He warned Goku Black that he would basically fail against Trunks, Goku and Vegeta. So instead, he scoured the multiverse and made himself stronger by fighting and killing off 99 different Gokus. The version he fights in Heroes, which is debatable, is the one from Super. He wears a different outfit most of the time, but seems to have gone through the same sort of scenarios. Even down to the fact that he knows Goku Black. So yeah, this guy's basically unlocked more forms and such through killing Gokus, which is the ultimate badass move, I would assume. But yeah, the figure itself looks great. Kong, as always, do not skimp on the details and design of their figures. In terms of plastic quality, not so much. Kong has always been known for issues with breakages and things like that. They're a stickler for details, don't get me wrong, and I love the look of this guy. But already I'm hearing reports of wrist pegs breaking. One other reviewer, Overhaul, him and his brother, you should go and subscribe to them. Him and his brother Stark, their figure of the 32, which is essentially the Demonico Fit version with the Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2, their foot peg just snapped. It sheared right off. So yeah, a bit troubling. Some people's this rubber overlay was ripping at the bottom, although that might have been from excessive pulling at it and things like that. So yeah, just for the price of these guys, be careful, especially with the weight of the Super Saiyan 3 hair. Like, they can break. They're more prone to breakage than others. So yeah. But yeah, now that I'm off that tangent, let's take a look at the details, because this review is getting quite long. So the hair is really nice. It's pink going into sort of a slight white highlight, which is really nice. This is Kong's own design for the Super Saiyan 3 hair, which I really like the look of. Truth be told, one of the only reasons that I didn't buy the Kong Super Saiyan 3 Goku or Vegito was purely because the faces looked off. That and the QC issues. Like, those figures were floppy messes. They couldn't even hold up the hair. Which, come on now. But yeah, in terms of other details, it's nicely done, in my opinion. Bit of sloppy paintwork on the gauntlets there, and again on the boot cuffs. Yeah, apart from that, looks really nice. Dare I say, it does look better than Demonico Fit, but then Demonico Fit was half the price. So yeah, let's go into articulation, shall we? And to make this easier, pop the head itself off, because it's a nightmare trying to pose this guy. Even though the neck has been tightened up significantly, it still makes it a chore, like maneuvering this head and things like that. So the head is on a neck peg that Kong has specifically created for it. They seem to be doing this with all their figures, where it's the 3.0 peg but enlarged. I'm not sure why they do that, maybe to help against breakages and things. But there's two ball pegs by the looks of it in there, and if you maneuver it in the right way, you can get it flowing in the wind, things like that. It does move rather well, rather easily. Just watch where you leave the peg and don't push it when it's not in alignment, or it will break and you will cry, because these figures aren't cheap. I'm going to keep saying that. In terms of the faces, they're using the Super Saiyan 4 a sort of peg system, which I really I'm not a fan of. This face in particular just does not seem to want to stay in for any length of time. It doesn't even sit flush. While I'm at it, I might as well say it. All the other reviewers with the Super Saiyan 3 have neglected to mention that to put these faces on, especially this one, the full power faces, take off the mask first. Everyone with the Super Saiyan 3 one that I have seen so far has complained that the hairpiece doesn't go on properly. I mean, surely it stands to reason, take off the mask first, put the hair on, and then put the mask back on, and voila, the hair is now flush. I would have thought that was obvious. Would I have rather been able to just put it straight on? Sure. But, I mean, that's obviously the way Kong wants you to do it. I don't think they would have made the faces removable otherwise. So yeah, in terms of the body, it's really well done. That's the double ball peg there. The neck goes down that far, goes up that far. It doesn't move side to side. It's nice to see they seem to have fixed the issue with 32 in that the neck just came out of the body. They forgot to glue it. And as a result, it was dead loose. But yeah, the arms can go out a bit that far. Less than a T-pose, but still decent. Can go all the way around. The rubber overlay is very loose. Very soft, rather. And it does, I'm not pulling it any further than that, but it does get out of the way really easily. See the butterfly joint there? Pop it back up. I'm really liking these rubber overlays that companies are doing now. Companies being Tamashii and other companies copying them. So yeah, butterfly joint gets them out to there, which is decent enough. Just be careful if you're keeping him in such pose, because the rubber overlay may warp. Butterfly swivel, or bicep swivel, sorry. Double joint at the elbow, but because of this extra overlay piece, it gets just past 90, and that's your whack. Whereas Demon Ico Fit had the hands with the sleeve attached, Kong have went with a more sleeve on the wrist and then just standard hands approach, which, I mean, fair enough. It still kind of gets the point across, even though the rubber overlay pieces could have done with being a little bit longer, in my opinion. That's just me though. You can go back that far, and yeah, that rubber overlay gets right out of the way, and you can bend really well that way. And waist swivel, legs can go up that far. Double joint at the knee. Need to be careful with this bit. It does have a ball peg, so you can go back and forward. That's really, really tight, and it doesn't feel the best quality, I will be frank, to articulation. But yeah, if you're trying to get that in any sort of pose, be very, very careful. This side is actually kind of loose as well, which, I mean, again, I know I keep harping on about it, but with the price of Kong's figures, I would expect a bit better quality control. Gonna be honest. Oh, and he does have a thigh swivel, obviously. So yeah, before we finish, going back to the design, like I'll be doing a separate video comparing Kong and Demoniacal Fitz figures, because this review's getting on a bit. I promise the full power version won't take anywhere near as long. But yeah, going back to the details quickly, it is impressive. Like, for the chest section, Beast Deities Kong could quite easily have just used the same mold from the full power version for both, but they didn't. You can actually see some wrinkles there from what's supposed to be the jumpsuit. So yeah, I will give them props. They always give us good details in the figures. I just never think they are quite worth the prices that they charge with the quality control that Kong always tends to be stuck with. But yeah, guys, that'll do it for this review. And until next time, I'll see y'all later.